We're ready. Take it away, Marvin.
Awesome. Thank you for being patient, everybody. Could everybody see the shared screen? Like, yeah. Okay. Cool. So yeah, thank you again for being patient. I don't even know what went wrong there. Like, never had that issue. But all right, let's start. So I kind of want to just introduce real quick, like for those who are not familiar with me or what do I do. So like a lot of people, like my friends, know me as Marvin or this like avatar Master Ong as like the business. The business was running for like 7 to 8 years. We ran a prop shop and then we also ran a festival for like 7 years. And I think a lot of it came down to like because I grew up in Malaysia for like 20 years and then I migrated to Los Angeles. And for the first few years, I couldn't find like it was hard as an immigrant to kind of like assimilate into the American culture. And until I met or stumbled upon like the florist community through Burning Dan, and he was the one that brought me to like my first fire jumps in 2010. That truly kind of like changed my life because I couldn't believe that I found like a community that is so open source. And my life's mission is to build communities, like, and that's kind of like the main principle. And fast forward 7 to 8 years, some of my close friends and some of my peers here, we've had this conversation quite a lot as we grow older and travel less to these events and things like this. Uh, it was really difficult for me. And I felt like I was like disconnecting from the community, just in general in the last 2, 3 years, as I felt like I was like stepping away from my practice and all the stuff. And then COVID hit. Like, so before COVID, I was already on a downslope. And as COVID hit, early COVID, Morgan Bennett from LA reached out to me and asked if I want to do like an online event. And I couldn't really figure out like how would that be. I couldn't even fathom like the concept of an online event. But somehow we managed to run three of them. It was called Move. Some of you may have attended it in 3 times. But the third one, we had around like 250 people from 50 countries. It was pretty well attended. A lot of workshops, a lot of shows on the Zoom call, and but during that time, when the third one was happening, the BLM stuff and all the crazy, like the country was like in a like a peaking in like the stuff that we all experience. And not only emotionally I was like burned out, but putting the event together was like crazy. I mean, Kevin Extel is in the room. He can I'm sure he can nod his head to just like putting these online events like takes a lot of work, like to run the tech, do the promotion. And then especially on a Zoom call, like once you finish the event, you're literally taking the whole stage and it's gone, and you're literally setting it up again if you do it from scratch. And so I remember like Lux Luminous was doing the first FlowVid event on Twitch. And that was kind of like my first experience on Twitch. I don't know, maybe some of you in here were able to attend. Amazing event. They raised like thousands of dollars through that weekend. You see here, and I haven't been on Zoom for a while. Is there like a place where I can access the chat? There you go. 1 second here. All right, now I can read the chat at the same time as I do this presentation. So this is better. Yeah, there is about like $3,800. Yeah, I haven't been on Zoom since then. In the beginning, I was all about the Zoom events because it was like live interaction. And even from the beginning, we had issues with the bandwidth and people from other countries, and it's a difficult thing. And as I witnessed FlowVid, the videos were pre-recorded and there were people in the chat box. I didn't really know how I felt watching it, but I was just kind of like digesting the information. And then not long after, it was in March, and then came June and July. And many of you have heard me talked about this but my wife Jennifer, she needed like a neck spine surgery, and we had a fundraiser, a GoFundMe. I put it on my Facebook wall overnight. We raised $12,000. It was like one of the most like incredible things that has happened to me and Jennifer, just in general, especially like with how things are in our country and like the unemployment rate and all that stuff. So it truly washed away what I felt about like kind of like disconnection from the community and stuff like that. And I think not only me, I remember talking to like a bunch of people from the community also. It was like kind of like a very huge symbol for hope and 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 the strength of our community despite the troubled times. And that was kind of like the beginning of it all. And so right after that, I decided to broadcast that story, and I didn't really want to do it on Zoom because it takes so much to put up, and then once you set it up and it's gone. And so I decided to start a Discord first. So I started the Discord because the French juggling community had already running Discord at the same time when we were running our Zoom events. Let me see if I can pull up the like let's see here. Yeah, and then so that kind of like escalated to me starting
Get
to stream
down.
in on July 26th. So July
Put
26th was
down.
the first stream, and so that was like the first launch. And so that's kind of like the short introduction of like how we ended up here on Twitch. And since we can't hear any music and we're just listening to my voice, I do recommend play some music on your end, because usually when I'm broadcasting on Twitch, I'm able to play some music. But yeah. So next step, the second part is like how to build a brand. I'm not like a gigantic like millionaire or anything like that, but I feel like I've I've taken the role of like one of like the community leaders running my festival for 7 years, and also like being a part of this community. I think the number one thing that is like important above all, I think, is always asking yourself like, how can you provide like value to other people? How can you like create like a positive impact in other people's lives? And I think that really goes really far, like being of service of other people. And how are you able to like instead of like thinking like how can I take, but it's like how can I give. And and there's so many ways of kind of like giving. And so the third thing I want to talk about is I've talked to like some of the people here on Twitch and like the platform migration that has happened between these platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch. And some of these platform migration from these artists, they're like, some of them are like DJs, so they're like very big on Instagram, has like 70 100,000 followers, but not many of them migrated over to some of these platforms. And so we've been talking about like there's like fans and then there's like community. Like fans are like people that are like interested in your work and kind of like they're like they like what you do, but that's about it to that extent. And then there's community. I think community is different from fans because they care about your well-being of who you are, and it kind of like goes past that, and they want to like support you in what you're doing regardless of any like regardless of the project. So those are the few things I kind of want to talk about. So the first is the intro of who I am and what do I do, and then the second part is kind of like a short kind of like a glimpse of like thinking of like how can you build a brand and how can you like be of service for others. um, and it's so weird for me to like kind of like present this on Zoom. If you guys can show me some life in the chat that everybody's like good, we should move on. And cheers to all you guys. There you go. Thank you so much. Yeah, that Twitch is crazy. So let's move on. So why Twitch versus Zoom? So I've kind of like mentioned that a little bit earlier, right? We talked about like Zoom, you have to like host the you have to host the account, and then you would have to invite people to come on the account, and once the account is finished, it's closed, and you would have to like redo it again. Twitch, however, this was like the same question I was asking like people back like early summer last year. I was like, what is streaming? What exactly is streaming? So you have like Facebook gaming, YouTube live streams, Twitch live streaming. There's different platforms where you can live stream. On Instagram you can live stream as well on on your phone. But typically when I think about streaming, in my kind of like mind, when I think about streaming, it's like a longer duration thing. It's not just like 2 minutes where you like go live and that's it, or Facebook live. Like streaming, like from what I've noticed, it's typically anywhere from 3 to 5 hours. That's kind of like the average kind of like time span of streaming. I mean, you can stream like for like a shorter time, like an hour, but typically it's about like 2 to 3 hours minimum. So with that being said, like it blows my mind how long people stay live for. It's you'd be kind of like surprised. In the beginning, I was streaming for like when you start streaming, like if you're like brand new, if you start streaming, uh, an hour or two can feel kind of long. Like it can feel kind of like it's almost like putting on a show and not having any like that space. But once you start building and the momentum starts going, like streaming is this weird kind of like thing on Twitch where it's kind of like a glorified chat room, but also like virtual or online busking. And then the other part is like your content. So when all three of them are kind of like mashed together, it's kind of like you're kind of like hanging out like in like somebody's room, like, and they're presenting specific content. Depending if you're like a DJ or like just chatting or a video gamer, like there's many ways to do it. There's not like a right or wrong way. But typically, once you greet the people that come in, once you get going, it typically takes about 30 minutes to even warm up. And then by the time you start streaming, it'll be like 2 or 3 hours long. With that being said, 2 or 3 hours, it is different from like on Instagram or on Facebook and so forth. If you're like on Instagram, somebody does a post and then you click like to the post, it's a quick engagement and you get a quick dopamine, but but that's about it. That's about the level of engagement you get, just that one like. There's not much of like communication or anything like that. But on Twitch, typically I think somebody said like the average view time is like 20-30 minutes. Like, so when you watch somebody on Twitch, like some people do spend like shorter time, but 5 minutes you won't be able to like really give it a chance. Like 20-30 minutes, you can kind of like see how you feel. And then maybe if you're interested in the content, you can watch, or not, you can like jump across. I don't know if I can do 3 hours. I don't think I have the time in my day for that. You don't have to do 3 hours. Some people just do an hour. I've seen people do an hour a week. That's it. They do like 1 hour a week, 1 hour a week. And we can talk about that as we go on, like the consistency and the duration of the streams. I've seen people that do 5 streams a week, 3-4 hours, like a stream. And then there's like people that do like 1 stream a week, 1 hour, like a stream. And the growth ratio kind of like changes from that part. The history of streaming on Twitch, like, so basically Twitch started in 2011 by this guy, Justin Kan. He strapped like a camera on his head. He started filming his IRL life, and then that became Justin TV. And Justin TV over time became Twitch.tv. And so it's predominantly for video gamers. And not until 4 or 5 years ago, they started like shifting to like letting people like stream stuff that is outside of video games. And Twitch was acquired by Amazon for like $1 billion, like 3-4 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. Just a second here. All right. Let's see where we're at. All right. And then the benefits of connection versus Facebook. So I think this is kind of like an important part. So on Facebook, you can on Facebook you can on Facebook you can go live on Facebook, right? and anybody that is on your Facebook friends would kind of like would kind of like
That was quick.
see it. But then you're only like your market is to your Facebook friends only. There's one, and then so you can really like branch out of that. I would say like if you're streaming on Facebook, people that are outside of your circle won't be able to kind of like find your stream. I mean, that's just is. But I think Facebook gaming is kind of like adapting there. So I'm not really too familiar with what's going on Facebook. And then we go down to the OBS versus slobs. What is OBS and what is slobs? OBS is the open broadcast software that I think probably Richard touched on last week. And then there's slobs, Streamlabs OBS. If you caught Richard's workshop, he probably would have recommended you to do OBS Studios. I personally, I went and download both of them, and this is probably what's going to happen to you if you're planning on streaming. You download both of them, and you open up both of them. OBS looks like a skeleton. It's like completely black, and there's not a lot of stuff in there. And then you open up slobs. You open up Streamlabs OBS, and all of a sudden you'll see this friendly face, green, user-friendly, like interface, and you're like, oh, this one looks more friendly and warm, and maybe it's like easier. I'll go with this one, and and my advice is do not do that. Like I went that path. I went to slobs. A lot of people went to slobs, and later on, as you kind of like progress, your the difference is on slobs is kind of like the best comparison is like an iPhone and a Windows. I always say slobs, you can't really configure the stuff. Like once you're like locked in, this is like the bare minimum of things that you can stream and the effects. When you're on OBS, you can add more plugins, you can rotate your camera. That's why I want to do like stream on Twitch to show you guys the effects that can happen that is on OBS. Like, and there's also these things called like channel points and stuff like that as we can go on. So the effects, one of them is like moving my camera 360, or like I could like anti-spin it, or I could like make it snow, or there's like sound effects that can happen, like the Back Band Basso song and stuff that I've added to my stream. And then with the OBS Studios, which is the first one, not slobs, you are able to add this plugin called Leoran Board, which is one of the like plugins. And that Leoran Board is a digital stream deck. So a stream deck is basically like, it's like think about like a piece of like calculator with buttons, and then when you press like a certain button, it's like a hotkey to have certain things like trigger on your OBS. So the Leoran board has a digital stream deck that you would download the plugin to your OBS, and it would send a signal out. So when somebody's on your stream watching you and they click a certain button on the channel points redemption, those effects will happen live on your OBS without you touching your computer. So it gives that kind of like immersiveness, kind of like the immersive feeling where they're part of the experience together. And that's kind of like part of like, from what I've seen, kind of like the streaming experience. Any questions so far? So we're good. And then so there's like the technical part of the tech and audio is like one of the toughest part on streaming with the OBS, as you can see tonight. Like I just couldn't get it up. Like it was crazy. Like I've streamed over like 7 months, 300 hours, and tonight it was like I just couldn't stream. And it's almost like expected. Like it's like in a way where like this technology stuff is like I'm not like really like a tech person. I've just been learning all this stuff as I go. You got you got your cords ready, you got your Ethernet ready, you reset your router, you run all the stuff, and it just doesn't want to go. And you hear people like setting up streams. I think Kimberly Drew that just started her stream. She said she was crying in tears. Like you spend all this time setting it up, and sometimes it just doesn't want to work, and you have to like reconfigure and figure it out. Spencer Sprocket recently just went live as well. He bought all this stuff and ready to put on a kid show and promoted it and stuff like that, and it just couldn't run. And next thing is the Discord. So the Discord, the best part about it is like I just assume that many of us here have been to Burning Man. So the Discord, the stream when you go live, it's kind of like the Esplanade. So you can jump from one stream to the other, checking out different streams. And then there's the Discord. The Discord is like the theme camp. So if you're like into the vibe of the content and the people that are on the stream, you typically would go to their Discord because almost every streamer has a Discord of their own. And let me show you how the Discord looks like here real quick. Does this pop up on everybody's screen? Everybody's good? Everybody can see the Discord? Okay, this Discord can be kind of like overwhelming in the beginning, but I'll just kind of like show you like how it kind of like generally works. Yeah, so this is my Discord right here. So when you come in, you pop in into the intro section. It'll show you that you're here. We have like kind of like a greeting thing. We'll tag you and say if you want to like introduce yourself, you can. So you introduce yourself. And there's all kinds of channels. So like we have like the welcome channel, the announcements, and then you go into the general. The general is mostly where like most stuff are going. There you go. See Richard right there. I'm dead. And then so you have the self promo page. So the self promo page, typically people would post when they go live, minutes before they go live, and they'll post in the self promo page. And then you have all these other pages like music, memes, or prop talk. In my particular Discord, there's the Fire Pit, which is a voice channel. This one's pretty interesting. So for those, I'm like in the beginning, it took me a while to kind of like really adapt how beneficial the Discord is and also the Fire Pit. The Fire Pit is basically a voice channel. We have a Firebot that is like written by Matan that we can summon from the Field Depot. If you go into the Field Depot, we type make storm, the Firebot would jump into the Fire Pit and it would emit like a fire sound. And you're literally kind of like you're kind of like in the Fire Pit to get people like listening to this fire, and it kind of like gives you this immersive kind of like feeling. But the other thing about the Fire Pit is that it's a non-linear phone call. What I mean by that is typically a traditional phone call is you call your friend, hello, and then you have something to say, and then you say goodbye and you hang up. That's kind of like a traditional phone call. This one is non-linear, meaning that people come in and out through the day. So they'll be kind of like hanging in there. They'll be playing chess or talking or whatever, and they'll leave, and they'll come in whenever. And sometimes you're gonna be in there with other people, and they're just silence because other people are doing other things. They might be working or listening to music, and it can feel kind of strange in the beginning because you're like, oh, I'm in here. I'm kind of like self-conscious. They're looking at me. Like it's kind of like all weird. But after you kind of like get used to it, it feels like kind of like an office. You're working at an office. You have your coworkers working, and you're all there, but you're not really talking. And then all of a sudden, you find something really interesting, and you go like, "Hey, check this out," and then you guys start talking. And that's kind of like the voice channel. The other part about the voice channel is that you can also turn on your camera inside the voice channel, and you can also share your screens. So meaning you can like everything that is Zoom capable is capable in there. And this Discord is up 24 hours. There's no like, you don't need to open the room, let people in and stuff like that. And the other part about what's interesting about it is kind of like a closed but open kind of like server, because you need to know the streamer to get the URL to get to the Discord. And the other way to think about it is like the stream is kind of like the party, and this is the after party. Not everybody makes it to the after party, but the people that makes it to the after party are like the core people that are like, it's like a, when you look at a stream, you just think, oh, there's just one streamer and they're getting bits and subs and whatever. I'll explain here in a little bit. But when you really pay attention, it's actually a complex ecosystem behind the streamer, and they're like a community of people that you don't see. But yeah, that's the Discord. Let me see here. Let me post. If you're interested in checking out my Discord, and I would recommend also like yeah, just coming in, take a look. And the thing about the Discord is also that I'm like, do most streamers have also hosted? Almost every streamer has a Discord. Like 90, I would say 99%. Some of them may be active, some of them may not be active, and some of them they're like super popular and super banging on stream on their Twitch, but then when you go to the Discord, it's completely dead. And then there are some that are opposite. There are some that the Twitch streams are not that crazy, but in the Discord they're just like going off. And so it really kind of like depends. So I would recommend exploring the Discord. And we also, besides the self promo and the fire pit, the stream tech help channel is one of the most popular channels. So that channel is basically a channel where we all gather resources. And if you are planning to start up a stream, if you're trying to like figure out the technology or the overlays or the emotes and all the stuff, you just go in there. You can read a lot of stuff. You can go in and just like scroll up and read or do the search bar on the top right, or you can just post a question and people will kind of like jump in and kind of like help you out with whatever questions you have. And so, and when you first jump into Discord, if you're having issues, whatever, this is also another technique that I would recommend, because the Discord is super popular. I'm a part of like 50 Discords. Like, so the Discord, I would recommend when you go into Discord, click on the Discord, go to the notification settings, turn everything off. That way you don't get any notifications, but try to make it a habit to check Discord. That's kind of like the best strategy I have for Discord. And the other part about the Discord compared to like Facebook, like I said, is like a more like a close knit kind of like thing compared to like Facebook that can be like a dumpster fire 9,000. And let's go back to let's see here. Let's go back to the presentation here. Okay. So once you start streaming, you're not able to monetize right away. You have to be a Twitch affiliate. So this is an interesting question, interesting topic. To be an affiliate, you need to stream 7 days and a total of 8 hours. How you divide the hours within the 7 days is it's up to you. And then you need 3 viewers per stream. So if you hit like 20 something viewers on your first stream, then you can kind of like just cruise. And once you hit all the goals, they'll send you an email to say you've hit affiliate. Would you want to like accept the terms and conditions? One of the terms and conditions though is that they do not want you to multi-stream. So if you're like a Twitch affiliate, technically you're not allowed to multi-stream to like multiple platforms at the same time. But I think like they've said like people have done it, they got caught or not, that's like a whole nother thing. But yeah, Twitch affiliate. So that's once you get the affiliate, you can start monetizing within a week, which is like getting bits and subs and donations. You can get it from the beginning, but bits and subs, there's basically like the Twitch money. So talk about channel points. Next thing is channel points. Channel points basically are like points that you earn by just hanging out and lurking and watching Twitch. If you just hang out in there, you'll get channel points. And I wish I could show you maybe I can show you like a stream. 1 second here. I'll just pull up a VOD real quick from today. Yeah, let's see here. Wow, I tried so many times tonight and it just didn't want to go. Oh, you can't really see it as well here. So like typically like on the chat box at the bottom where you type in your message, there's like a button where it's like the channel points. And when you like click on the channel points, it'll open up a menu. And then from there, each streamer will set up different things. For mine, you can like rotate my camera. You can ask me to juggle 5 balls, different things that you kind of like set up so that your audience can request for you to do things once they earn enough points. And those points are free. And just those points are just kind of like hanging out in the Twitch streams to give them like an incentive to kind of like 5 balls, yeah, to kind of like become part of the experience together. So subs and sub badges, how do those work? So a subscription, basically on Twitch particularly, is $5.40 if you buy on the computer. I think if you buy it on the phone, it costs a little bit more. So when you pay $5.40, $2.50 goes to the streamer, and then $2.50 goes to the platform. It's pretty high. It's pretty steep. And what do you get when you pay for a sub? So if a person becomes affiliate, the first 10 people that pays for a sub to subscribe to that affiliate will get like a founder's badge. You'll see like a 1 and a first. That means that those are like the 10 supporters of the stream. And then they will also get a sub badge. So sub badge is basically the streamer will create these sub badges to put next to their name. And the months, as the more months they subscribe, the badge will kind of like evolve into like a different thing, however they choose. And when you subscribe, you also get the emotes. So the emotes, every streamer has a custom emote. Like, so mine is like one of the main ones, most popular one is this full power emote that is a rice ball that was made by Jesse Brenner. So like once you're subscribed to me, you can also see the sub badge. This is the sub badge here with the 6-month sub badge. And then the green sword here is the moderator of the stream. And then you have these like custom emotes. So the custom emotes is kind of like an interesting thing. Somebody mentioned it's kind of like a secret handshake, kind of like a secret handshake. So like if once you're like subscribe per se, once you subscribe and you have the emotes, you can jump to different streams and use that emotes in other places, and those emotes will start popping up, and other people will notice that, oh, that is like from so and so stream. So you can kind of like connect with other people on other people's stream by using these like emotes. So instead of emojis, somehow Twitch lingo, they call them emotes. And then, so if you don't want to give, if you don't want to pay a sub, sometimes people can also give sub. So for example, Richard is streaming, a bunch of people are in there. I feel I want to support Richard. I already subscribed to him once. The next level up is to give sub. I can pay for somebody else's subscription. And once you're like a subscribe per se, if you pay for your own subscription, you want to directly go into the subscription page here. And once you're in the subscription page, you want to like change, you want to change the payment method. Not payment. You can change to like only subscribe for a month, or you can keep it. If you don't change it, it will keep renewing every month if you pay the subscription to the channel yourself. And then you can get gift subs. So people pay for my subscription. So people in the channel, they're huge supporters, so they would give subs to you. So you'll get a gift sub for like 30 days. And once you get the gift sub, you don't have to change the payment or anything like that because you didn't pay it. So it will run for 30 days. And after 30 days, it will just like lapse. And so when you get a gift sub, it's kind of like a way of like the community in that stream kind of like supporting that streamer. Any questions so far? How many people are in here anyways? 24. All right. And then the next step is the bits. So bits are basically Twitch money. So I don't think I can show it here either. Like, yeah, I can't. There's like a diamond sign down here at the bottom. So bits, you buy it from Twitch themselves. Twitch takes 25% off the top, and then you'll have the bits in your like wallet. And then when you go watch a stream or something like that, and if you don't feel like, if you want to like pay $5.40 for like a sub, you can throw bits. Some of them, basically 1 bit is a cent, 100 bit is $1. So then some may set like a minimum requirement of like 50 bits for 50 cents or however much. And then once you pay the bits, the streamer gets like the whole thing. So it's kind of like a virtual busking. You give the tips, they take the thing. And then you have donations. Donations is basically the best way for the streamer to get monetization, because through PayPal, the streamer only gets ding for 3%. So that's like the best part. But for some reason, I feel like the subs and the bids are somehow more popular, because once you're like sub, you get the badge, you're like a supporter of the stream, and then bits are kind of like change. They throw the change. So donations do happen, but they are kind of like more rare than the subs and the bids. And then once you give enough subs or bids during a stream, a hype train will be activated. So a hype train, it'll say hype train level 1, and then there's like a duration, and that's kind of like just to incentivize the audience to kind of like support the streamer more. And then you can get up to level 5 and stuff like that. And so that is kind of like the premise of like Twitch. And then you have the Twitch partners. So basically there's 7 million. I think in the beginning there was like 3 million broadcasters, and during COVID I think that number has like doubled up to like seven something million. And there's millions of people that stream to 0 and 2 viewers. It's pretty rough out there. And for some reason a lot of people somehow feel like, oh, if I just click go live, everybody will find me. And that's not really the case. It's literally like when you click go live, it's almost like starting a restaurant or a business, and you would have to go out there and get your like customers. They're like, Twitch is not gonna feed you like 100 viewers just because you click go live. And actually Twitch is one of the hardest place for discoverability, actually to like find you. But the monetization aspect of it, kind of like it's easier compared to like YouTube and other places, I believe. And also because of the live streaming aspect of it, in terms of creating and engaging in community, is one of the best platforms out there compared to all the rest. Because all the rest is like really quick, like that's it. At Twitch, you have to sit down and consume the stream and kind of like engage in some ways. And then we have the Twitch partners. So basically there's about 40,000 to 50,000 Twitch partners out there. That's basically 0.05% of the 7 million something broadcasters. To be a Twitch partner, you have to hit 75 viewers on every stream, and then you would apply. And then once you become a Twitch partner, you'll get the Twitch badge where you can kind of like really flex as you go into other people's streams and stuff like that. Twitch partners. So the benefit of Twitch partners, you can create teams. So like you'll see like a team under me, like I'm like part of like Team Flomies and all these different teams. So it's kind of like you can be part of like a stream team. Encoding. What is encoding? So encoding, when you start streaming, you can choose your like quality of 480, 720, 1080p. If you're not a partner, you sometimes get the encoding, meaning that if you stream at 1080 and that day you don't get the encoding, everybody that is watching you on the phone will not be able to watch you. So they recommend streaming in 720p until you become a partner. And then every stream that you stream, you'll get the encoding. So people can choose 480, 720. And then you also get a better cut on the subs. Instead of 50% ding, you'll get 70% instead of 50%. And then with this emotes too. So when you're an affiliate, you only get 5 emote slots. But once you become a Twitch partner, you'll get 25 emote slots. So you can add more emotes. And then kind of like it's part of like the whole thing. You get the emotes, the Twitch culture, the sub badges. And then there's BTTV. BTTV is basically better. Let me see here. BetterTTV.com. So BetterTTV.com is basically this one person that watched too much Twitch, and basically he wrote this whole code. And basically BetterTTV.com is an extension that you add to your Google Chrome browser. As a streamer, for me, I uploaded 15 emotes here, and then there's 15 that I chose from the pre-select. And so when people come to my stream and they have the extension, they will be able to use these emotes. And if you don't have the extension, you only see words. Basically, you see people type rat jam or people clap, blob hypers, and you're like, why are those people typing random words? They're not typing random words. They have the extension, so they will be able to see these like moving gifs on the chat box. And it kind of like it's a deeper layer into like the Twitch like world, I would say. I made this one, Juggle Fam. So like if you have like the BTTV emote jumping through like our community, a lot of us have it. See like Juggle Fam and like the spinning club and stuff like that. Yeah. So let's see here. And then yeah, we mentioned, and then there's moderators. So moderators are basically like when you start the stream, typically you don't really need a moderator until you're like 50 or 100 viewers. But a moderator is kind of like a nice kind of like gesture in the beginning, because it's like the green sword. For those that support you, that have been on the stream a lot, you can kind of like give them the sword, and they can kind of like help moderate your chat for trolls and all kinds of like crazy people that try to like derail your like your direction or your theme of your stream. So it kind of like, they're kind of like the security, like Loretta here. She's like one of the early securities of my on my stream. And then you have the VIPs. And so once you like stream more, you'll access more VIP badges, and then you can kind of like award them to the people that have been coming a lot. So there's this kind of like let me see if I can pull it up here. Uh, yeah, so these are the VIP. So you have this kind of like diamond badge. So the diamond badge represents like a VIP. So they're kind of like the close supporters of the stream. And yeah, it doesn't really like do much or any benefits. It's just kind of like, oh, this guy is like a supporter of the stream. See here. It was a forewarning. I wasn't judging anyone. What do you mean? And yeah, and then the founder's badge. So the other thing about like the Twitch world is that a lot of these like streams, like I said, like last like a long time, 3 to 5 hours long. So a big, we'll skip that and we'll go through that in a little bit. So here comes the Twitch etiquette, Twitch versus IRL community. I feel like a lot of us here from the IRL, like IRL stands for in real life, IRL community, from the Flow community and stuff like that. And there's like the Twitch community. So there's like I for me, I see like the IRL is like the type A, and then you have the type B, which is just purely Twitch, and then you have the type AB. The AB are like Twitch people, but they kind of like do like flow stuff. So you have like kind of like the mixture of the hybrid of these like three types of like people. And one thing that I've learned from Twitch that is like super valuable here in the last couple months is the garden of community. What does that mean, garden of community? So I think like a lot of us here, maybe if you're kind of like a veteran in the Flow community for 4 or 5 years, 10 years, however long, sometimes it can be easy to take it for granted, where you feel that it's kind of like a binary community, 1 or 0, in or out. And you see that happening a lot on Facebook, especially like just when people start like just going all crazy, and they were like, yeah, fuck the Flow community, or something like they kind of like just dissect it into like 1 and 0, and which is not true. So after I've been on Twitch, I realized even though you have overlapping people and overlapping friends, each community of the streamer is their own. You have to kind of like water and tend to your community. Just because you're overlapping with another person and you share 50% of the overlapping audience, like, doesn't just automatically give you the pass to just don't care, you know what I mean? Like, and so it really like opened my eyes to like, even though we're have an overlapping like Venn diagram of like community, like it's it's still individualistic who you kind of like um like tend to and grow. And virtual community versus relationships, exactly. So that's kind of like part of it as well. And then there's like the self promo rule. This one I learned it kind of like the hard way on Twitch. So if you do stream on Twitch, I think a lot of our IRL like community here that are on Twitch, we kind of like bypass that rule, and because we know each other, we don't care, you can promote as much as you want. But even on my stream, like if you come to my stream and if I don't know you at all, and if you want to promote yourself, I say go ahead. I don't care. Like, but the self promo rule is a very sensitive, unspoken rule of the Twitch community, I guess, for a lot of people. Basically, so when you go into somebody's stream, they feel like they're kind of like basking and it's their show. So they prefer you to not talk about your stream unless like they ask you or like you're spoke to or about your stream. And then there's the first names and lurkers. So the Twitch community, they're all online, so they usually just go by the screen name. On my stream, it's a little bit different because I know a lot of the people that come to my stream, so I kind of like address them by their first name, unless they feel like, oh no, don't call me by my first name, then I wouldn't. But so far, I have no issues yet. And also with the chat going on, and I've called out, hey, Brian, thanks for being here. They don't know who's Brian. Like only Brian knows that he's Brian, I guess, like in some ways. And there's another like a Twitch etiquette of lurkers. So there's a lot of lurkers. So what I mean is, like I said, like the stream goes for 3 to 5 hours. People tend to just passively listen. They're usually not watching. So audio is like number one most important for your stream. And then like most people are either like doing work, office work, or cleaning or whatever. So if they're lurking, the Twitch etiquette is to not call them out unless they engage in chat. Because like if you call them out, they might like you put them in a kind of like tough position to engage because they might be busy and stuff. And so that's kind of like that totally makes sense. The other beautiful part about the Twitch platform compared to like Zoom or anything like that is the social anxiety and identity factor, where when you go on a Zoom call, there's like 20 people on the Zoom call. Sometimes you look at the face, you don't know who that person is. People turn off the camera, so it can be kind of like weird and strange. But with the Twitch streams, you're the face of the stream. People only see your face. And so on the chat, you only see the screen names. So what does that mean? It means that the audience gets to have the control of how much identity they reveal of themselves, because you can't tell if they're male or female. I don't know their real names and stuff like that. And it's up to them to reveal how much identity, and it's up to them to come to decide if they keep want to come back and engage. And so I feel like this particular way of kind of like broadcasting is very awesome because it gives the audience kind of like the relaxation and control instead of being on a Zoom call and they have to turn on the camera and stuff. But on the Twitch stream, they can choose whether to engage or not, especially if they have social anxiety and stuff like that. And when you're on a Zoom call, there's so many faces and all this, it can be like a lot of energy. But on the Twitch stream, you can literally just sit back and just kind of like be in the shadows and still be a part of the conversation. That is a truly like an amazing thing about like a Twitch. And the next thing is like how to network on Twitch. This one is pretty finicky. I feel like from my own experience, it seems like it's almost like I kind of like view it as a business because you have like your main core people, your type A, your supporters, the people that know you, they want to support you, they're there. And then you have to, but they can't be there the whole time. So they kind of like overlap a certain period of the stream. And then you have to look for your type B, the type B people that maybe know about you, but not sure, the passive like people. And once you kind of like find them through the Twitch streams and stuff like that, you can kind of like bring them in and they become kind of like part of your audience, even though they may only come for like a bit. And then there's like the type C, they kind of like overlap once a month or once every 3 months or whatever. And then the network on Twitch, you would have to, unfortunately, there's no shortcut on this. Like you would have to go into each person's stream and kind of like watch their content to see if you kind of like vibe with it, talk to their streamer, talk to their moderators, see who's their VIP, and then kind of like pay attention to what's going on and how these communities kind of like overlap. And once you spend a little bit of time, you start knowing more people. Some people say it's kind of like a neighborhood. So if you're watching my stream, it's only one of the house in the neighborhood. So you're coming to my stream once every however. But if you do decide to check out the Twitch neighborhood, you would have to jump next door, down the street, down the alley to check another person's stream. And once you start seeing the connection between the streams, then you start seeing like the Twitch community and how they kind of like move around. And also you can add a friend on Twitch. And once you add a friend on the bottom left of the stream of the Twitch panel, you'll see your friends watching specific person and you can kind of like join them. And so that's how a lot of us are kind of like moving in a herd. We're like jumping from one stream to the other, kind of like almost like bar hopping, but kind of like stream hopping. Marketing and platform migration. So this one is one of the hard part as well. It's almost as hard as like the tech stuff. So you would have to do your own marketing. You would have to kind of like tell people about what you're doing, where you're doing it. The platform migration is kind of like so you, for example, you move people from Facebook to Twitch and kind of like show them and stuff like that. It's kind of like a not an easy task, but once you're able to move them, they're basically your people pretty much. They kind of like enjoy who you are. They like who you are. They enjoy what you do, and that's kind of like up to you to kind of like move them. The trickle down effect. So the trickle down effect, what I'm noticing here also is like once a person comes on Twitch, they usually watch somebody that is bigger, like a big streamer that it's hard to like engage. But after a while, they spend more time on Twitch. They will start trickling down to the smaller streamers for engagement, and that's just kind of like how it works. And then here comes Twitch consumption, because you could be a Twitch streamer but not a Twitch consumer. Like for me, I'm a Twitch consumer because I do office work 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, so it's perfect for me. My computer is here, so I can kind of like listen in and do some stuff. So I'll be like doing work and kind of like engaging in some streams. I'll jump from one stream to the other, so it's kind of like watching TV or putting it on the background. But instead, I'm like watching Twitch and kind of like it somehow feels more interactive, immersive, and more um, interesting for me than I would watch just like a regular show or whatever. And here comes the DMCA, the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. Twitch has been facing some issues with this for a little bit. The last couple months, it was really heated, but now it's kind of like died down. Basically, the long story short is the main three labels, Sony, Warner, and Universal. They are seeing Twitch, like this is from my own research. I feel like they see Twitch growing and they're coming for their money. And instead of Twitch, they want the money from Amazon. And apparently Amazon brings in 96 billion a quarter or something like that. And Twitch is only 1% of Amazon. And so it's kind of like all about the money, depending if the attorneys on the other like music label can come in and attack Twitch. And so in a couple months, there was some issues of like kind of like DMCA copyright strike. If you get strike 3 times on Twitch, you're banned forever. I would recommend not playing anything that is top 40 or anything like Kanye West or like the big names. As long as you skip those 3 big labels and big names, you're kind of safe, but not bulletproof. And all right, so does it work the same on Zoom if I share the video? Does the audio goes through? Do we know?
I think that should work.
Okay, let me try it. Let me try to pull up this video. So this is the video I made like 3-4 months in. Let me know if there's any audio.
Okay, not right now. There should be a way.
When you
can
select
Yeah.
Zoom
Mhm.
screen share, there's like a button to click on the bottom that says share audio, and then you can even format it to be best for video. There should be 2 little check boxes at the very bottom before you share.
On the, I see new share. Is that the one? New share?
New
No.
share.
I see participants and then I see new share.
I'm not sure what that is. There should be. What do you click? What do you?
Pause share or stop share. I do see that one.
What happens if you stop share and then restart and then choose it with audio?
Okay.
So when you go to click share screen, there's a little arrow that pops up, and if you click that, it says advanced sharing options.
Gotcha. Optimize for a video clip.
Yeah, that seems like that makes sense.
Yeah, that's one, and then right next to that should be the audio.
All right, let's try that now.
It's almost over. I don't need to talk about how crazy it is. We all
There's
know.
sound?
Yeah, there's sound on that.
Yeah, today I kind of want to like make a short video about the 6 variables of streaming. I'm sure if you follow me here on YouTube or Instagram, I'm sure you've seen it already. I've been talking about streaming and Twitch in the last couple months. Like it's coming up to 4 months. I've been pushing it pretty hard in terms of like live streaming. It's such a beautiful and fascinating way to kind of like connect with old friends and meet new ones, and create this like genuine connection through the screen, especially in a live element. But with that being said, I've been thinking about this a lot the last couple weeks. The main 6 variables of what makes a stream kind of like tick. Variable number 1 is the relationship. So relationship to the streamer. It could be your mom or dad, cousin, your friend that you've known for a long time, or a person that you've just known. Even if you haven't met in real life, maybe you know of their work and stuff, and so you want to support them. And so that's kind of like a big reason, I think, a big variable, the relationship to the streamer. Variable number two is the content. Depending on the content one person puts out, like depending on what they're interested in and what their point of interest is, and one thing that they speak about a lot. And so for me, it has been circus and juggling, and so that's my main content that I've been kind of like pushing on stream. Just kind of like talk about these things and kind of like branch out into like more mental health and real life stuff, and how they all kind of like connect together and build this like community around it. So that's kind of like variable number 2. Variable number 3 is engagement and community or interaction. A lot of people maybe do not know the streamer, and maybe don't know what the content is about, but they're floating around on Twitch or on stream because it's quarantine time, and such a awesome way to meet new people and hear about new things and learn about new things. And so a lot of people come on these streams to kind of like engage with people. They kind of like chat in and talk and meet new people and have different ideas. So that's number 3. Interaction. People are looking for interaction, especially during these times. Number 4 is lurkability. What do I mean by that? Some people might want to look for something to listen to instead of watching just like a Netflix show or anything, like kind of like a podcast, you know, or an audiobook, but it's live. So you can kind of like tune in. It's almost like a radio, and you could be like cleaning your house, doing your homework, or playing some video games, or just doing a bunch of stuff. It's kind of like passive listening. So that makes it lurkable. You can kind of like lurk in the background while kind of like still be a part of the conversation. So that is number 4. Number 4 is lurkability. And number 5 is the system. What do I mean by the system is I talked to iFeek in Malaysia. Twitch is not really prominent there because Malaysia is not really a rich country like United States or Europe. A lot of people drive motorcycles, and a lot of people are on their phones. Not a lot of people can afford like a nice PC and fast internet. So what I mean by that is, like, for example, if I tell you like the movie Avengers, how good it is, and you're watching it on an iPhone 6, that's basically what I mean. Like if you have the nice system with the headphones and the nice screen and the fast computer, you can fully embrace the experience and by engaging in and stuff like that. Because if you're watching it on your phone, it's really hard to kind of like get the full kind of like engagement, especially if you try to like interact on your phone. So that's what I mean by number 5, the system. And last but not least, number 6, I've been thinking about this a lot in the last couple of weeks, is the culture, the Twitch culture. There's a culture behind the platform, the people behind it, and how the community, the ecosystem works around it. The custom emojis, which is known as emotes, or bits, which is like tips, and the subscription and the monetization and the expression, and all these different ways that the Twitch kind of like community kind of like evolves and kind of like move around. So that is like number 6. I think these are like the main 6 variables that I can think of in the last couple of weeks that make kind of like a stream kind of like work, or the first 2 is definitely huge, but then all the other factors kind of like play in as well. So yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts about this. If you're familiar with Twitch, not familiar with Twitch, if you're familiar with live streaming or not, I would love to hear your thoughts about what you think about these 6 variables. Yeah, comment in the chat below, hit me up, or send me a DM, or and yeah, just comment below.
Cool. So that is the 6 variables that I found in like the 4 months that I was streaming. And yeah, so that brings us to the kind of like the end part of the workshop, the Q&A. And anybody have any questions they want to ask, anything like that? Let's see here.
No questions?
Perfect.
I'm
Thanks.
surprised. I have a question. I was kind of wondering just for some of the people who are in here and haven't done their first stream yet, what do you wish you had known? Like, what does someone need to be prepared for just like putting their first stream out there? Not like all the tech stuff, but yeah, what would you say to that?
It's pretty like for me, I feel like I was kind of like I was like for me when I started, I feel like I had to like migrate all my people over, and so there was kind of like a very like a pretty tedious task. I would say, um, but for anybody that is starting here, and I assume that if you're in here, kind of like sort of part of the Flow community, I would suggest to jump into Discord, talk to some of the people there because everybody that's on the Discord are already familiar with the Twitch world. So if you jump in and kind of like talk to some of the people there in the general chat or wherever, kind of build like a presence and kind of like a relationship, jump into the fire pit, talk to a few people, you might get, it might be easier. It might be easier for you to get like a base support. Shamanic Trans Loretta and Sanyo just went live yesterday. They had like 30 something people, and that was like from the Discord, and everybody knew them already. So it's kind of like, and it's easier too if you have like kind of like a solid chat because they can kind of like carry you. They can kind of carry the stream because if you're streaming to like nobody, 0 to 1, basically you yourself have to carry the whole stream, and it can be pretty defeating or like difficult because you feel like you're just talking to yourself, and yeah. So I think if you're starting off, there's already a base built. Come by and it'll be like an easier like lift off instead of like starting from zero. There's many people that stream for like 4 or 5 months, even from our Flow community. I've heard to 0 to 1 person or two, and it is difficult. You think about turning it on and kind of like doing the thing, and there's like nobody there, and you're doing it again and again, and finally you give up. But yeah.
I have a
Yeah, which
question.
is also I think a great reminder to support your friends' channels, right?
Totally. Yeah. And even though, and that's the lurkability part where you can kind of leave your computer on and kind of like do something else, but you're kind of like there supporting them in spirit or something. And it's huge. It can go pretty far.
I have a question. Um, was there anything that you put an overemphasis on at the beginning of when you started streaming that you realized wasn't as important, and things that you realized as you went on that were more important you wish you had focused more on at the start?
I would say like right from the beginning, I thought I was going to hit partner in like 2 or 3 months. And then I realized that's not gonna happen for a while. But I think like it really depends on each person's stream. I think like it could be like a DJ stream, it could be like very like everyone's like a little bit different. And then so for mine, I already knew that was kind of like the case. But for my particular stream, I think like the engagement between me and the audience is like kind of like crucial, creating this kind of like bond. And so like I feel like I still fall into that trap a little bit, but less now compared to like the beginning where I was like looking at the metrics of the view count very heavily. And now I'm kind of like past that because I know like I'm kind of like realistically a long way from partner. And it also like in the beginning, I think also like it was really like anxious because it was hard to like feel comfortable and know that you have some people coming in and supporting you. And after a couple months, I was able to kind of like feel like, okay, there's like a base people that's gonna be here. Like I know there's like a rotation of people that will help support this. But yeah. Christian says, it seemed like background content, DJ, low-key chat does well on Twitch. Do you see teachers using this as a more structured tool for educating? The closest thing that I've seen to like a teacher is kind of like the political streams where they're kind of like like educating. Like there's this streamer Bad Bunny. She's pretty like hardcore like left wing, and then there's like Hasanabi, and there's like some like really big streamers. I don't know if it's like educating Lucid Fox, yeah, like per se, but they're kind of like political streamers talking about like politics. I haven't really seen like teaching per se. I've seen studying though. I've seen a lot of like crazy like programming, like the head of Netflix, Prima Gen, the coder of head of Netflix. He streams on Twitch. He streams his coding stuff, and all the coders like tune in and watch it. And maybe that's kind of like educational. Tutorial streams, yeah. Mr. Bill, I guess. Yeah, yeah, Mr. Bill, yeah. Kill the Noise. I've not checked out Kill the Noise yet, but yeah.
Do you have any experience running a festival through Twitch? I forget what you have gotten up to exactly in the last year or so.
I did the events on Zoom 3 times, and then once I focused on Twitch, I just didn't had the time to kind of like run any more events. I mean, I was like teaching on Kevin Sting Club Congress. That was really well run. They ran it on Twitch, Discord, Zoom, and where else? Like they used my Discord as kind of like the hangout spot. They did the Twitch broadcast. They did the Zoom jumping back and forth. That was like really, really impressively put together. But fully on Twitch, like I feel like it really depends on the audience. Like for example, like I feel like when FlowVid ran their thing on Twitch, I feel like they use Twitch as kind of like a Zoom room, which is completely fine. But like you could like really dive in, but it takes time to kind of like engage into the Twitch world and Twitch community.
That's real. It's deep.
Yeah,
But it is fun. I agree that it's it's a nice way to like stay connected and hang out with people without having to put a whole lot of social and emotional energy into it.
Yeah. And also like comparing to like Facebook, I feel like Facebook, like there's so much crazy going on Facebook, because I noticed like on Facebook, if you post something, because we're all human beings, like we're all like not perfect, so like our thoughts go from 0 to 10, and 10, let's say, it's like a genius thought, and 0 is like just completely like a like very like idiotical thought or whatever. And sometimes you think of a 4 kind of like thought, and then you like post it on Facebook. The thing about Facebook is that once you post something that's kind of like on a lower end, people kind of like see that, and they can kind of like stew in it. They stew in the negativity, and they think about how to like reply to that. And then once they reply, it exponentially gets more negative. And what I noticed on these Twitch streams, the same people that were like engaging in this kind of like crazy negativity, you bring them on Twitch streams, and the Twitch streams is happening live, right? So the moment is unfolding in real time. So they maybe say something like level 4 or something on the chat, but the streamer can choose not to read it and just kind of like bypass it and go to the next sentence. And that way it can kind of like construct this kind of like positive direction if the streamer wants. And like, so these people don't have to, nobody's going to go back to the video, scroll up like 500 comments and like read that thing and stew in negativity and figure out how to like reply that. So Twitch is kind of like, because it's kind of like in moment thing, it's just moving forward instead of like Facebook. Like, amazing analysis, the way platforms are designed and use algorithms matter. Yeah, for sure. It's kind of like crazy to see all this kind of like different platforms and the way people kind of like communicate. And I feel like it changes a person, how they kind of like convey themselves and like and things. Yeah, thanks for being here. I don't know why my Twitch fell. It was like failing so hard tonight more than ever.
Sometimes that's the way of it.
Yeah, and
We appreciate your
tonight was the night.
patience. I think we have maybe one last question. Farzad asks, how much time did you have to put in each week to run your Twitch channel?
I started with one stream a week on Sundays, and then I expanded to 3 streams a week. So I do 3 streams a week. They typically run from 3 to 5 hours, depending on the energy. On my one of my streams, it's like a kind of like a interview stream on a weekday that typically runs about like 2 hours. And I'm really fortunate because I can do my office work and kind of like spend my time in Twitch. So during when I'm working, I'm also semi networking, growing the community. So I have spent quite a lot of time plugged in onto Twitch. But yeah. But like I said, I've seen people like kind of like casually do it like an hour a week or something, and it is still doable. You know, it really depends on your goal, I suppose, and what you want to achieve and how much time you have like devoting to it. And it's fine if you don't have much time and want to just try it out here and there and be part of a Discord, checking in here and there. But yeah. Yeah, I definitely have been building a bunch of like streams. So there's people that have been watching the streams for the last 6 7 months, and now they're kind of like starting to stream. Sometimes it takes time. My sister-in-law, she's been watching me from 7 months ago, and not until like a month or two, like a month ago, she was like, dude, I fucking get Twitch. And then she started streaming. So a bunch of people like are starting up, and it's just a nice way to kind of like connect during these like quarantine and lockdown and be able to, yeah, do the thing.